This your girl Tonetta here, your social worker and your coach and your baker, talking about, of course, the reality of being a helper. And a lot of y'all may know, or some of y'all may not know. Of course, your girl's a social worker, like I just said. Been a social worker 26 plus years, certified life coach, relationship coach. Let me see, maybe like 7, 8 years, between 5 and 7 years. I didn't forget, y'all, between 5 and 7 years. And of course, I've been a baker most of my life since I've been on my own, of course. So that's a few decades, I put it that way. But like I said, the reality of being a helper and all those things, I do help people actually. I help people, of course, give them smiles, of course, when I bake and that kind of thing. But what I'm focusing on today is about my role as a social worker. And of course, I'll skip the life coach for now because it's all kind of the same thing, because it's the same actual skills actually. But like I said, the reality of being a helper, we have to realize and we have to know, and not just social workers, but there's other helpers out there that may hear this too. Caregivers, there's people who are teachers, there's people that are nurses, doctors, psychologists, therapists, anybody that's a helping professional helping somebody else. I put it that way. We have to understand and realize that everything that we're getting from the people that we're working with, of course, is going to affect us in some kind of way. They call it secondhand trauma. And I realize that a lot of us have, of course, already, a lot of folks have been traumatized already, but just by growing up and just by living their lives. But like I said, being a helper, like I said, there's a lot more you go through more traumatic experiences, I put it that way, along with your clients. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because we have to learn how to navigate these things. We can't, well, some of us, well, I've been in the field a long time, like I said, almost 27 years now, and I've seen folks take work home, where they're so stressed out and where they're thinking about the cases and the kids who were abused or the family that's homeless or whatever it is. And they're, like I said, stressing themselves out at home. I definitely have seen that. I've seen marriages end. I've seen people, of course, burn out. And I'm at the point of burnout as well. I guess I want to say that too. But like I said, we have to be mindful. We have to help ourselves along the way. I know these 26 and a half years, like I said, I've definitely had to learn how to figure out how to help myself along the way so I wouldn't, of course, burn out as easily, as quickly, and that kind of thing. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this present time. Because, like I said, I'm definitely burned out in the field. And like I said, I'm making some changes right now. But I just want to let y'all know that it's definitely possible for you to, of course, be a helper and still live your life and that kind of thing. I hope that you, like I said, I had to realize that I had to figure out what my self care routine was going to be. Whether that meant walking every day out in nature, because nature is my therapy. Baking is my therapy too, y'all. Or making something in the kitchen, that's all my therapy. But I also had to realize that I had to either, I did start journaling. Of course, I've been journaling since I was a little kid, actually, a young kid, writing stories, writing poems, and talking about my day and that kind of thing. But I had to realize, like I said, that I had to deal more with the actual trauma that I suffered with as a child and as growing up. Because, like I said, when you're working in the field of being a helper, social worker like me, or any other field, you are going to run into a lot of your clients are going to have that secondhand trauma, and it's going to be inflicted on you as well because you're listening to the stories. I don't mean that you're gonna. Well, it's and actually, before I even say that, I was going to say it doesn't mean that you're going to experience the same thing that they experience. But actually, in my 26 and a half years as a social worker, I have experienced some of the things my clients have. Well, the emotions and the feelings behind what my clients have experienced. Right now, I'm working with people who, of course, are caregivers, and they're working with their own family members or their loved one to help take care of them at their end of life. And yes, I've been through a lot of deaths and that kind of thing. My own parents and other family murder, folks with murder and different things like that too. I've been bedside of somebody while they were dying as well a few times. But like I said, hearing those stories, facilitating the support groups, and hearing the caregivers talk about their stories, that does affect me as well, because it does put me in a down mode sometimes. I cannot say depressed or that kind of thing, but it does put me in a mode where I'm like, oh my God, I have to hear this again. Oh my God, these people are going through this. This is so much. I have been like that a lot of days, actually. That's why I'm at the point of burnout. I've been burned out in this field. And like I said, I know this it's taken 26 and a half years, but I know, like I said, over the years, I had to learn how to deal with my own trauma and my own drama, y'all. That's how I stayed in this field so long. I guess I put it that way. I couldn't just, of course, still have all these feelings about people who use drugs because my parents use drugs. I hate them. I can't work with them. I can't do this. I can't do that. I Same kind of thing when I'm talking to somebody, I guess back in the day, with somebody who has domestic violence issues. My mom was beaten almost every day by my dad. Hearing the slaps, hearing all the cries, hearing all the screams, all that kind of stuff. Yes, that did affect me. And then hearing about somebody else's story that I'm working with affects me as well. Like I said, sometimes it does bring back nightmares and different things and make me think about the situations and those kind of things back in the day. And like I said, I had to work on those things. And I'm just giving you this word today because, like I said, I know a lot of y'all may be in school, of course, or still in the field or working as a teacher, social worker, or whatever you are, helping somebody, caregiver, whatever you are, you're helping somebody else. Like I said, you will have a secondhand trauma, but you have to learn how to deal with it. Like I said, over the years, I had to learn that too, y'all. It was not easy. It's still not easy. I'm still working full time, so I mean, it's still not easy. Because, like I said, I'm hearing about death and dying. Somebody's dying this month. Somebody died last month. I heard that a lot, y'all. I heard a lot. And like I said, I'm still working, of course, on my own traumas, my own dramas, and that kind of thing. But like I said, I had to learn over these last 26 and a half years to, of course, listen to these things, but not take these things home where they affect me so much where I'm like, I can't even do my job, or I can't even make an income for myself because this is my degree and this is my field, or that I can't even get up and go to work the next morning. Like I said, I had to realize that over the years. That working on my own self is the best thing for me dealing with anybody, whether it's my job or any other relationship that I have outside of my job. And thank you all for tuning in this morning. Is it can't is I can't. There's so much sun on this side, y'all. So hello, good morning, y'all. I think it's JJ Brown, Chiefs God, the Cam Yab. I can't see what that says, but like I said, there's so much sun over here. As y'all see, as I'm trying to look up and get the sun on my eyes, it's crazy, but that's all right. But like I said, y'all, if y'all are in that kind of field or any kind of helper helping your family, whoever it is, you could be a caregiver at home helping your parents or helping your spouse or that kind of thing. That will affect you too, y'all. A lot of times we, of course, at least I can speak for myself, of course, all the traumas and the dramas that I've been through, and sometimes you haven't healed from those things. And of course, like I said before, if you're hearing somebody that's talking about somebody dying or one of the situations that you've been through, domestic violence, or somebody got hit by a car or whatever it is, you're going to have some mental things going on with you as well. Just by hearing that. I've seen folks walk out of meetings because they could not hear what the client was talking about because it hurt them so bad because it's what they had been through. Sexual abuse. I've been through that as well. I've had to listen to those stories too. That's part of the job of being a helper, I guess I put it that way. But like I said, I had to learn how to deal with those things within myself too, and not just take everything home and not just go home and be depressed and not be suicidal or, oh my God, I can't listen to this, or I'm going to go steal those kids. They shouldn't be in that environment, or whatever it is. I had to learn how to deal with that, y'all. And like I said, the main way I figured out was, of course, one, my own self-care. What am I doing to, of course, take care of myself? I had to figure those things out. What am I going to do? I love creative things. I know what I do. Like I said, I love anything creative. Making something, like baking, of course. Like I said, I have my own cookie business, a home baking business. I love to walk out in nature. I love to hike on trails whenever I get a chance to, as long as the weather's not too damn hot here in the desert. Um, I love to make stuff, doing puzzles. I can sew, like hand sew. Like I said, I can do a whole lot of different things. So those creative moments always brought me peace, always brought me the time to, of course, sit with myself, to, of course, deal with whatever feelings I was dealing with, whether it's from work or whether it's from somebody else that called or whatever it is. Then I had to realize, of course, I had to set my own boundaries. What am I willing to listen to and what am I not willing to listen to? And yes, you can do that in the workplace. Do you have coworkers? That's what they're there for. If you need somebody to come sit, I guess, take your spot, you cannot hear this story or whatever the client's telling you. So and I have done that before. That's how I know that folks have walked out of things. I've had to go sit in, I guess, with interviews and admissions and hearing like the different stories and, of course, trying to admit somebody into our programs. Yes, I've had to go do that. So that's how I know that. Use your coworkers. That's what they're there for, especially the ones who can take it a lot more than you can. I guess I put it that way. Because in order to be a helper, you have to have, I hate to say this, but you got to have some kind of backbone, some kind of resiliency, some kind of umph that you ain't going to just take everything home and that you ain't going to just let everything bother you like that. Because we get so defensive sometimes and so all on our head and that kind of thing as well. I had to learn that's their story. That's not my story. They have to go home to whatever the hell they're going to go home to. I'm going home to something totally different. Unless you still live in that environment, then that's a choice you got to make and figure out what you're going to do with your own situation. But like I said, I had to learn how to stop taking things so personally, y'all. That's their story. That's their life. That's what they went through. I can help them in that moment. It's not me. And it does feel like you're reliving that moment sometimes. It definitely does, because I felt that way before. Like, oh my God, this is the exact thing I've been through. And yes, those thoughts and those feelings will come back. But like I said, I had to learn how to curb those things. And like I said, I'm hoping what I'm telling y'all today, or saying to y'all today, is helping, especially if you're in the field of you're helping somebody. I'm a social worker. Like I said, folks are nurses, teachers, doctors, lawyers, CNAs, caregivers, who else? Psychologists, therapists, counselors. We all go through those things. They all may not tell you, but I'm going to tell you, especially if you're looking to, of course, get into this field of helping anybody. I'm definitely going to tell you the truth. I'm not one that's going to sit up here and lie about anything. I'm going to tell you the truth and tell you what you can expect depending on what you're doing in the helping field. And this, I think, is across the board. And like I said, the last thing I had to realize that helped me, like I said, first it was, of course, self-care, then, of course, setting my boundaries. But then, of course, third, I had to realize that I had to, like I said, work on my own healing and my own triggers. Because, of course, I was an angry-ass person. I went to anger management classes twice, y'all. Twice. The first time, it didn't help me because I wasn't allowing it to help me. But I had to go back again because I'm like, I can't live like this. I was the type of person in the past, back in my 20s, teens and 20s, who would jump out the car on somebody. I had bad ass road rage. Holler and yell at folks for, somebody that I felt disrespected me, or I was mad about something and somebody said something I ain't like, so I went off. And I knew I could not work a job like that. Like I said, I had to deal with those things. I had to deal with the abuse that I saw my dad doing to my mom every single day when I was growing up as a kid, up until I was actually in college when she left. I had to deal with, of course, all the things that I saw, people around me dying and murdered in some cases, sitting next to bedsides, I guess, folks dying and that kind of thing, because I work with those kind of people now. Their loved ones are dying and they're having dementia and all this stuff is going on. I had to learn how to deal with a whole lot of things, like I said, personally, before I could, of course, move on things. I guess I put it that way as well. And actually, why I was in the midst of some things as well. Because some things, when you're working, you have no idea what's going to walk through your door that day. You have no idea what kind of clients you're going to get either. Like I said, you have to be on your P's and Q's working in this kind of field, y'all. Any kind of helping field. As y'all know, things can change minute by minute. And in some cases, second by second. Especially if you're in a hospital or something like that. People's lives are at stake all across the board, y'all. And like I said, working in this field, yes, while it has been rewarding in some ways, it taught me a hell of a lot of skills that I'm using in my coaching business and that I'm using in my baking business and stuff like that as well. And just dealing with people, period. While it taught me all those skills, like I said, folks can burn out. And like I said, that's the point that I've gotten to. Yes, after 26 and a half years, I'm not afraid to say that. But like I said, I've worked all these years, and of course, I had to learn how to deal with the job that I was working, y'all. Like I said, it is definitely doable. But like I said, you have to be one of those strong individuals. I guess I put it that way, in a sense. Somebody that's resilient, somebody that does not get defensive and all those types of things as well. And don't take everything to heart like it's your family that you're dealing with when it's only your client. You can only do so much for them, y'all. There's one thing I had to realize too. They tell you that we have resources in this field, or any field actually. But just know that the resources are very limited. And they're only limited to a certain amount of people and a certain criteria of people as well. So there's not many resources out here. And as you know, at 2025, this is what, October, a lot of resources and nonprofits and services are being shut down and closed right now. So just know that you can only do what you can do, y'all. That's one thing I should have said that in the beginning, but that's one thing I had to realize as well, because I'm not superwoman. I can't help everybody. I know that. It took me about a year or two to realize and understand that that's not my fault because I can't help them. It's not my personal fault because I can't help somebody. And like I said, I had to realize that too, y'all. Because that, of course, will drive you insane if you feel that you're the only one, you're superwoman, and you can help all these people. And they say we have resources, but they ain't got them. And now I'm putting all the weight on myself, saying that I'm the one that's bad, and I'm the one that can't find this, I'm the one that can't find that for these people. Sometimes the services is just not there, y'all. And we have to learn how to deal with that. Letting them know that There is no service for you, but I can give you my, I can sit here and listen to you. I guess I put it that way. If that's all that they need in that moment. And sometimes that is all that they need in that moment, y'all. There's nothing wrong with that. I've sat through people just talking and just wanted to get it out. I facilitate support groups. So I hear it all the damn time. Folks just want to get it out sometime, regardless as to whether there's a resource or not. So like I said, I hope this video, I'm hoping that it helped somebody out there. I guess I put it that way. And somebody was asking, how am I? I'm doing okay. Like I said, I have gotten to a point, I think I've said it in the last several videos, but I know that I'm burned out at this point, so I'm making other plans to do something else different. Yes, I have some days where I'm not wanting to go to work or not wanting to facilitate a group or don't want to hear this, don't want to hear that, but I still do my job because I don't have another, my cookie business isn't providing enough income to, of course, pay all my bills at this time. I pay the bills that I have at this time. So yes, I still have to keep working until I can get another income to replace this. So, but like I said, I'm doing okay. I'm on the parking lot at work right now. I guess ready to go in pretty soon. Of course, I'm usually a happy-go-lucky type person anyway. That's just my temperament and my personality. I've always been that way. And like I said, some days, of course, like I don't even want to come. I don't even want to hear this no more, that kind of thing. But across the board, I'm doing okay. I have a little toothache down here. Otherwise, I'm doing okay. So like I said, I hope this video helps somebody today, y'all. Like I said, that's helping somebody else that's in the helping profession, whether you're a social worker like me, teacher, nurse, doctor, lawyer, counselor, therapist. We all go through these types of things that I'm talking about in this video, y'all. It's not easy being a helper. There's a lot of things that, like I said, that we have to think about, a lot of different facets of this. Not just, of course, our paycheck, but there's a lot of things. Like I said before, that secondhand trauma, hearing it from clients. In the cases that people that work in, like the care homes and hospitals, y'all see clients dying right in front of your eyes with traumatic things all the time. And like I said, I hope this helped y'all too. I hope it did. So with that, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get my butt off here. Again, if you're new to the channel, and if this is something that you want to, of course, subscribe to, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. And for those who, of course, who already been here, been rocking with me for several years now, thank y'all for being here and rocking with me, y'all. I appreciate that, and I love y'all from the bottom of my heart, y'all. Thank you. So with that, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get my butt off here. Peace out, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next daily vlog. Have a good one, y'all, and I hope y'all take care of yourselves, y'all. Peace out.